Hi, I'm Peter J. Ray. Welcome to Adventures in History. Today's topic is the 1977 Cleveland Indians AL-MLB baseball season. Again, the Tribe was playing in the American League, the junior circuit of Major League Baseball, and home games were played at Cleveland Municipal Stadium downtown on Lake Erie by the corner of West 3rd Street and what's now Al Lerner Way, formerly Lou Boudreau Boulevard, and where First Energy Stadium now stands, where the Browns play. The Cleveland Indians had a tough year in 1977. They finished in 5th place in the American League East with a record of 71-90, winning percentage of .441, 28.5 games out of first. The first place team was the New York Yankees, who were 162, winning percentage of .617. Second place, the Baltimore Orioles, 97-64, 2.5 games out of first. Boston Red Sox also at 97-64, so they tied for second, basically. Fourth place, the Detroit Tigers were 74-88. Fifth place, the Cleveland Indians, 71-90. Sixth place, the Milwaukee Brewers, 67-95. And seventh place, the Toronto Blue Jays, 54-107, winning percentage of .335, 45.5 games out of first. In the American League West, first place team was the Kansas City Royals, who were 102-60, winning percentage of .630. Second place, the Texas Rangers, 94-68, 8 games out of first. Third place, the Chicago White Sox, 90-72. Fourth place, the Minnesota Twins, 84-77. Fifth place, the California Angels, 74-88. Sixth place, the Seattle Mariners, 64-98. And in seventh and last place, the Oakland A's, who were 63-98, winning percentage of .391, 38.5 games out of first. 1977, the Texas Rangers had several firsts for the team. On May 14th, Jim Colburn of the Kansas City Royals threw the first no-hitter against the Rangers. On May 15th, Willie Horton hit 3 home runs in one game, the first Texas Ranger to do so. And on August 8th, they had their first triple play. August 27th at Yankee Stadium, Toby Harrah and Bump Wills had hit back-to-back inside the park home runs for Texas. Second time in MLB history that happened. September 23rd, Bert Blyleven threw a no-hitter against the Angels. The second Texas Rangers no-hitter. 1977 was Brooks Robinson's last year of playing in MLB, playing for the Baltimore Orioles. He had severe financial trouble at the same time. His sporting goods company failed. It became national news. Everyone knew he was a good man. Folks all over the country wanted to help him. Doug Wilson wrote, quote, "As with George Bailey in It's a Wonderful Life, people heard Brooks Robinson was in trouble and flocked to help." Robinson did recover financially, and Doug Wilson continued. "It was a sad chapter in the life of Brooks Robinson, but it was also an opportunity to display remarkable grace under pressure, character revealing self-control." Robinson was a player coach in '77. He didn't play much. Doug DeCinces became the starting third baseman for Baltimore, and Robinson ended up on the bench for most of the year. April 19th of '77 in Baltimore, a Tribe-Orioles game. Bottom of the 10th, Tribe was up 5-3, and Brooks Robinson had a pinch-hit 3-run home run walk-off winner, helping Baltimore to win that game 6-5. It was his 268th home run of his career and last. August 21st, he retired. He only hit 149 for the season, and he coached the rest of that season. September 18th was Brooks Robinson Day in Baltimore. Sports writer Gordon Beard spoke. And there was also talk that Reggie Jackson was quoted as saying that if he played for New York, they'd name a candy bar after him. He mentioned this in his speech, and this guy, Gordon Beard, said, "Nobody's ever named a candy bar for Brooks Robinson. Around here, we name our children after him." Then Earl Weaver spoke in this ceremony, and he said, quote, "I'd like to be like Brooks Robinson. The guys who never said no to anybody. The ones that everybody loves because they deserve to be loved. Those are my heroes. In 1977, the Tribe Good Guy Award winner, or the Frank Gibbons, Steve Olin Good Guy Award, went to Cy Bynack, the clubhouse fellow. Tribe home attendance in 1977 was 900,365 for an average of 11,185 per game, down a total of 48,000 from 1976. After the 1976 season, this became there was free agency, and for the first time, and so you had these large numbers of free agents for the first time. This was big news. Bill Campbell signed with Boston for $1 million over 4 years. Don Gullett signed with the Yankees, $2 million for 6 years. Bobby Grich signed with the Angels, $1.75 million for 5 years. Joe Rudi, Don Baylor, both signed with the Angels. Gary Matthews signed with the Braves. Raleigh Fingers and Gene Tennis with the Padres, and Bert Campaneris with the Rangers, and Sal Banda with the Brewers. Reggie Jackson signed with the Yankees. Jackson said, quote, "I didn't come to New York to prove I'm a star. I brought my star with me." Popular 1977 movies included Star Wars, the first Star Wars movie, Close Encounters of a Third Kind, Annie Hall, and Saturday Night Fever. Now, with Reggie Jackson and the Yankees in spring training, Jackson was quoted as saying, quote, "I'm the straw that stirs the drink. It all comes back to me. Maybe I should say me and Thurman Munson. Munson thinks he can be the straw that stirs the drink, but he can only stir it bad." Tommy Lasorda was the new LA Dodgers manager, and he claimed that he bled Dodger blue. The 77 Dodgers became the first team to have 4 players to hit 30 home runs: Steve Garvey, Reggie Smith, Ron Cey, and Dusty Baker. The last day of the season, Baker hit his 30th home run, and Glenn Burke greeted Baker at the plate, and reportedly that was the first recorded high five. The Reds' George Foster hit 52 home runs, the only player in the 1970s to hit 50-plus home runs. Braves owner Ted Turner became manager for 1 game at the end of the season. St. Louis Cardinals' Lou Brock broke Ty Cobb's career record of 893 stolen bases. Pittsburgh Pirates' Dave Parker wore a Star of David medallion even though he wasn't Jewish. Parker said, quote, "I'm David and I'm a star." Now, the Phillies had a slow start. Manager Danny Ozark was quoted as saying, quote, "The players expected the season to be a cheesecake." I think he meant cakewalk. The Padres had a mascot, the San Diego Chicken, who threw out the first pitch at opening day. I'm reading a fine book. The title is Dodgerland, Decadent Los Angeles and the 1977-78 Dodgers by Michael Fallon, 2016. In the LA Dodgers 1977 yearbook, manager Tommy Lasorda was quoted as the famous quote, I bleed Dodger blue." Cincinnati Reds manager Sparky Anderson responded, quote, "Tell Tommy Lasorda blood comes in only one color, red." At the Dodgers' home opener, Frank Sinatra sang the national anthem. September 5th of 77, there was a Tribe-Yankees game at the stadium, and the Cleveland gave away Hate the Yankees. It was called Hate the Yankees Hanky Night. They gave away handkerchiefs with I Hate the Yankees on it, sponsored by 3WE Radio. I believe I went to that game. 28,000 fans. Tribe swept the doubleheader. I read another fine book. The title is Ladies and Gentlemen, the Bronx is Burning, 1977, Baseball, Politics, and the Battle for the Soul of a City by Jonathan Mahler, 2005. Jonathan Mahler wrote, quote, "The 1977 New York Yankees were racially and ethnically mixed. They were life-size loutish. On the field, they did everything the hard way, with the maximum of stress and strain on the fans. Off the field, they bickered, backstabbed, and demanded to be traded." Now, Reggie Jackson, early in his career for the Oakland A's, at one point, the story was he walked around with a Baby Ruth candy bar in one hand and an O. Henry candy bar, chocolate bar, in the other hand. And he asked teammates what his candy bar would be called, and because he believed he'd have a candy bar. Regarding Reggie Jackson and the 1977 Yankees, Jonathan Mahler wrote, quote, Reggie Jackson resembled the solitary hero of his favorite book, Jonathan Livingston Seagull, the seagull that yearned to soar like an eagle. If Jonathan had managed to transcend his scornful flock, all those petty birds that felt threatened by his ambition, why couldn't he? New York City had a blackout in the summer of '77 from July 13th, 14th. A lot of folks, most of the folks didn't have power for more than a day. There was citywide looting, criminal activity, and arson. 1,037 fires, 1,616 looted or damaged stores, and 3,770 people were arrested. That same year was a New York City mayoral election. The candidates were Abe Beame, Ed Koch, Mario Cuomo, and Bella Abzug, and Ed Koch won in a runoff against Mario Cuomo, the father of the current New York governor, Andrew Cuomo. Now with the tribe owner in 1977 was Ted Bonda. Bonda was tribe owner from 1973 to 1978. He was president from 73 to 78, and a tribe owner from 75 to 78. Phil Seghi was back as tribe GM, general manager. Seghi was tribe GM from 1973 to 1985. On the radio, broadcasting the games on the radio, Herb Score was back at 3WE Radio. Score was a tribe player from 1955 to 1959, tribe TV and radio broadcaster from 1964 to 1997. Herb Score is buried at Lakewood Park Cemetery in Rocky River, Ohio. His partner was Joe Tate on 3WE Radio. Tate was a tribe radio broadcaster from 73 to 79 and a Cleveland Cavaliers radio broadcaster from 1970 to 2011. On television, Harry Jones broadcast games for WJW-TV. Jones was the Cleveland Plain Dealer reporter from 1940 to 1947, Cleveland PD sports writer from 47 to 60, Tribe TV and radio announcer from 1961 to 1977. So this was the end of his time as a TV broadcaster. Harry Jones died in Sedona, Arizona in 1983 at age 62. Harry Jones. Mudcat Grant was his partner on TV broadcast. Grant was a tribe player from 1958 to 1964, a tribe TV broadcaster from 1973, 1974, and 1977. Mudcat Grant. Frank Robinson was back as tribe manager for only part of the year. He had a record of 26-31. Robinson was a tribe player in 1974, a tribe player manager from 1975 to 1977. Robinson was fired on June 19, 1977, and replaced by Jeff Torborg. He continued as an MLB manager till 2006 with the San Francisco Giants, Baltimore Orioles, Montreal Expos, and Washington Nationals. In 2017, a statue of Frank Robinson was erected at Progressive Field, honoring him as the first African-American manager back in '75. Frank Robinson died in 2019 in Los Angeles, California at age 83. Frank Robinson. So Jeff Torborg became the new manager mid-season. He started as a coach in the bullpen and then took over as manager. Torborg was tribe manager from 1977 to 1979. He was a tribe coach from 1975 to 1977, and again he replaced Frank Robinson on June 19th. And the tribe had a record of 45-59 under Torborg. Jeff Torborg. Now the coaching staff included Rocky Colavito, who was a hitting coach and first base coach. Colavito was a tribe player from 1955 to 1959 and from 1965 to 1967. He was a tribe TV broadcaster in 1972, tribe coach in 1973, 76 through 78. Rocky Colavito, don't knock the rock. Harvey Haddix was the pitching coach. Haddix was the tribe pitching coach from 1975 to 1978. Harvey Haddix. Joe Nosek was the third base coach. Nosek was a tribe coach from 1977 to 1981. He was born in 1940 in Cleveland, and he's 79 years old in 2020, still alive. During his MLB playing career, he batted .228 with 3 home runs and 53 RBIs. As a player, he played for the Minnesota Twins, Kansas City Royals, Oakland A's, and St. Louis Cardinals from 1964 to 1970. Nosek was a longtime MLB coach from 1973 to 2003 for the Milwaukee Brewers, Minnesota Twins, Cleveland Indians, Kansas City Royals, and Chicago White Sox. He went to Ohio University. Nosek was a modest eater and he got the nickname Coffee and Juice. He won an American League title as a player in '65 with the Minnesota Twins. He was a starting center fielder for most games in the '65 World Series for Minnesota. Nosek was known as a skillful sign stealer. MLB coach for 28 years. He was a scout for the Houston Astros. In the minors, he played for the Ohio Bobcats. Joe Nosek. Now, the Tribe starting players included Fred Kendall, the catcher. Kendall batted .249 with 79 home runs, 18 runs scored, 13 doubles, a triple, 3 home runs, 39 RBIs, 16 walks in 103 games. Kendall was born in 1949 in Torrance, California, and he's 71 years old in 2020. During his MLB career, he hit .234 with 31 home runs and 244 RBIs. Kendall played Major League Baseball from 1969 to 1976. It's almost 77, really, must be, with the San Diego Padres, Cleveland Indians, and Boston Red Sox. He was a manager for the South Bend Silverhawks in the minors, and a team for the White Sox. In 1995, for the Kansas City Royals, he was their bullpen coach. His son, Jason Kendall, was an MLB catcher from 1996 to 2010. In the minors, Fred Kendall played for the Hawaii Islanders, Sioux Fall Packers, Asheville Tourists, Elmira Pioneers, and Salt Lake City Bees. Fred Kendall. Andre Thornton was at first base. Thornton hit .263 with 114 home runs, 77 runs scored, 20 doubles, 5 triples, 28 home runs, 70 RBIs, 3 stolen bases, 70 walks in 131 games. Thornton was born in 1949 in Tuskegee, Alabama, and he's 70 years old in 2020. During his MLB career, he batted .254 with 253 home runs and 895 RBIs. Thornton played for the Chicago Cubs, Montreal Expos, and Cleveland Indians from 1973 to 1987. He was a 2-time All-Star in 1982 and in '84, won the Silver Slugger as a DH in 1984. He won the Roberto Clemente Award for good sportsmanship and community involvement in 1979. Thornton is in the Cleveland Indians Hall of Fame. His nickname was Thunder. Thornton grew up in Phoenixville, Pennsylvania. He came from a family of athletes. He signed with the Philadelphia Phillies a week before his 18th birthday. He was on the MLB 1974 All-Rookie team as determined by Baseball Digest. Andre Thornton was traded to the Tribe on December 10th of '76 by the Montreal Expos for Jackie Brown, one of the most lopsided deals of the '70s. Brown only pitched one more year. Thornton missed all of the 1980 season with a severe injury. He had 2 surgeries. Shortly after the '77 season, he was in a terrible car accident, very tragic car accident with his wife, Gail. His wife, Gail, and 3-year-old daughter, Teresa, died in that sometime after the season, short time. Thornton and his son, Andy, were both injured but survived. Andre Thornton wrote a book, 1983, title is Triumph Born of Tragedy, regarding that accident and his conversion to Christianity. 1979, he married Gail Jones, a singer and former member of the Jones Sisters Trio gospel group. He had 2 sons with Gail, Jonathan and Dean. Today, Thornton is a successful businessman. He's president, CEO of ASW, a global supply chain management company. After his MLB career, he was involved in the Cleveland community, sitting on the boards of the Cleveland Council on World Affairs, the Cleveland Zoological Society, the Cuyahoga Community College Fund, Nyack College. He was a member of the Leadership Cleveland. He was involved with the First Tee of Cleveland, a golf program to provide the youth with educational programs and facilities and promote character development. 2007, he was inducted into the Tribe Hall of Fame with Jim Bagby Sr., Mike Garcia, and Charles Nagy. He's a member of the minor league Reading, Pennsylvania, for the Phillies Hall of Fame. He was named to the top 100 greatest Cleveland Indians of all time. Andre Thornton Park is located in Phoenixville, Pennsylvania, opened in 2010 in his honor. The minors, Thornton played for the Eugene Emeralds, Wichita Arrows. In the Dominican Republic, he played for Águilas Ibaeñas. Andre Thornton said, quote, "Something I learned early on and was driven home to me many times is that baseball is a game that teaches humility." Andre Thornton. At second base, Duane Kuiper was back. Kuiper batted .277 with 169 home hits, 62 runs scored, 15 doubles, 8 triples, 1 home run, his only career home run, 50 RBIs, 11 stolen bases, 37 walks in 148 games. Kuiper was a Tribe player from 1974 to 1981, and he was the 1977 Cleveland Indians Man of the Year. Duane Kuiper. Frank Duffy was at shortstop. Duffy batted .201 with 67 hits. He scored 30 runs, 13 doubles, 2 triples, 4 home runs, 31 RBIs, 8 stolen bases, 21 walks in 122 games. Duffy was a Tribe player from 1972 to 1977. He was traded on March 23, 1978 to the Boston Red Sox for Rick Kruger. So this was the end of his time in Cleveland. His MLB career continued until 1979 with the Boston Red Sox. Frank Duffy. Buddy Bell was at third base. Bell batted .292 with 140 hits. He scored 64 runs, 23 doubles, 4 triples, 11 home runs, 64 RBIs, a stolen base, 45 walks in 129 games. Bell was a Tribe player from 1972 to 1978. He was a Tribe coach from 1994 to 1995 and from 2003 to 2005. 1977, Bell won the Gordon Cobbledick Golden Tomahawk Award. Buddy Bell. Bruce Bochy was in left field. Bochy batted .304 with 119 hits. He scored 52 runs, 19 doubles, a triple, 5 home runs, 43 RBIs, 3 stolen bases, 40 walks in 112 games. Bochy was born in 1950 in Pasadena, California, and he's 69 years old in 2020. During his MLB career, he batted .282 with 100 home runs and 658 RBIs. Bochy played for the California Angels, Cleveland Indians, and Seattle Mariners and Oakland A's from all the way up till 1986. He was an All-Star in '79 with the Mariners. He was the first baseman, outfielder, and DH during his career. He played college baseball for Santa Clara University Broncos. On May 11th of '77, he was traded by the California Angels with Sid Manji to the Tribe for Dave LaRoche and Dave Schuler. In '78, he signed as a free agent with the Mariners. He sat out the '83 season for reasons never made clear. The Miners' Bruce Bochy played for the Stockton Ports and El Paso Sun Kings. Bruce Bochy. Jim Norris was in center field. Norris batted .270 with 119 hits. He scored 59 runs, 23 doubles, 6 triples, 2 home runs, 37 RBIs, 26 stolen bases, 64 walks in 133 games. Norris was born in 1948 in Brooklyn, New York, and he's 71 years old in 2020. During his career, he batted .264 with 7 home runs and 110 RBIs. Norris played for the Cleveland Indians and Texas Rangers from 1977 to 1980, so he was a rookie in '77. He played left field, center field, and right field. Norris went to the University of Maryland and played on the Terrapins baseball team. He's a 3-time All-ACC outfielder. In 1969, he played college summer baseball for the Orleans Cardinals in the Cape Cod League and was MVP. 2002, if the ACC had their 50th anniversary baseball team, and he was on that. 2004, he was inducted into the Cape Cod Baseball Hall of Fame. In the minors, Norris played for the Elmira Pioneers, Jacksonville Suns, Oklahoma City 89ers, Toledo Mud Hens, and Wichita Arrows. In Venezuela, Norris played for Cardenales de Lara. Jim Norris. Paul Dade was in right field. Dade batted .291 with 134 hits. He scored 65 runs, 15 doubles, 3 triples, 3 home runs, 45 RBIs, 16 stolen bases, 32 walks in 134 games. Paul Dade was born in 1951 in Seattle, Washington. He died in 2016 in Seattle at age 64. During his MLB career, he batted .270 with 10 home runs and 107 RBIs. Dade played for the California Angels, Cleveland Indians, and San Diego Padres from 1975 to 1980. He also played for the Hanshin Tigers in Japan in 1981. He died of cancer. In the minors, he played for the El Paso Sun Kings, Hawaii Islanders, Portland Beavers, Salt Lake City Gulls, Shreveport Captains, El Paso Diablos, and in Venezuela for Navegantes del Magallanes. Paul Dade. The DH for the Tribe was Rico Carty, who batted .280 with 129 hits. He scored 50 runs, 23 doubles, 23 doubles, a triple, 15 home runs, 80 RBIs, a stolen base, 56 walks in 127 games. Carty was with Cleveland from 1974 to 1977. On March 15, 1978, he was traded by the Tribe to the Toronto Blue Jays for Dennis DeBar. And his MLB career, so this was the end of his time in Cleveland. His MLB career continued until 1979. After the 76 season in the expansion draft, he was drafted by the Toronto Blue Jays. The Tribe then traded Rick Cerone and John Lowenstein to get Carty back. Rico Carty. Now the bench players included Larvell Blanks, who was an infielder. Blanks batted .286 with 92 hits. He scored 43 runs, 10 doubles, 4 triples, 6 home runs, 38 RBIs, 3 stolen bases, 19 walks in 105 games. And Blanks was with Cleveland from 1976 to 1978. Larvell Blanks. Rick Manning played some center field. Manning batted .226 with 57 hits. He scored 33 runs, 7 doubles, 3 triples, 5 home runs, 18 RBIs, 9 stolen bases, 21 walks in 68 games. Manning was a Tribe player from 1975 to 1983. He's been a Tribe TV broadcaster from 1990 to the present. On June 4th of 77, in a game, Manning slid headfirst into second base and was injured. He had a fractured vertebra, a broken back. That meant he had a tough year. He lost his speed. He only hit .226. He had gotten a new contract. Under the contract for the season, he had a 25% cut, which violated the rules. No, there wasn't allowed by MLB rules to have more than a 20% cut. That meant Manning became a free agent, so the Tribe ended up signing him for $2.5 million over 5 years. Rick Manning. Ray Fosse was a spare catcher. Fosse batted .265 with 63 hits. He scored 25 runs, 7 doubles, a triple, 6 home runs, 27 RBIs, 7 walks in 78 games. Ray Fosse was a Tribe player from 1967 to 1972. From 1976 to 1977, he was traded by the Tribe on September 9th, 1977 to the Seattle Mariners for Bill Laxton and cash. Ray Fosse. Ron Pruitt was an outfielder and catcher. Pruitt batted .288 with 63 hits. He scored 29 runs, 10 doubles, 2 triples, 2 home runs, 32 RBIs, 2 stolen bases, 28 walks in 78 games. Pruitt was with Cleveland from 1976 to 1980. Ron Pruitt. John Lowenstein played some outfield. Lowenstein batted .242 with 36 hits. He scored 24 runs, 6 doubles, a triple, 4 home runs, 12 RBIs, a stolen base. He was caught stealing 8 times, 21 walks in 81 games. Lowenstein was with Cleveland from 1970 to 1977. February 28, 1978, he was traded by the Tribe with Tom Buskey to the Texas Rangers for Willie Horton and David Clyde. So this was the end of his time in Cleveland. His MLB career continued until 1985 with the Baltimore Orioles. John Lowenstein. Bill Melton was a corner infielder, primarily a third baseman as I recall. Melton batted .241 with 32 hits. He scored 17 runs, 11 doubles, 14 RBIs, a stolen base, 17 walks in 50 games. Bill Melton was born in 1945 in Gulfport, Mississippi, and he's 75 years old in 2020. During his MLB career, he batted .253 with 160 home runs and 591 RBIs. Melton played for the Chicago White Sox, California Angels, and Cleveland Indians. He was an All-Star in 1971. He was the American League home run leader in 71. They called him Belton Bill. Belton Melton. He's currently the TV sports commentator for NBC Sports Chicago for White Sox broadcast. Melton led American League third baseman with 24 errors in 1974 and 26 in 75. He was traded to the Tribe on December 3rd of 76 by the California Angels for Stan Perzanowski and cash. He retired after the 77 season. He worked with his father manufacturing skateboard wheels. He also did real estate. He worked in community relations for the White Sox in 1992. And since 1998, he became White Sox TV broadcaster. Until 1987, he was the White Sox home run leader. Later, he was passed by Harold Baines, Carlton Fisk, and Frank Thomas. He's currently 8th on the White Sox all-time home run list. In the minors, Melton played for the Hawaii Islanders' Fox City Foxes. And in Venezuela for Aguilas del Zulia, Bill Melton. Johnny Grubb played some left field. Grubb batted .301 with 28 hits. He scored 8 runs, 3 doubles, 3 triples, 2 home runs, 14 RBIs, 19 walks in 34 games. Grubb was born in 1948 in Richmond, Virginia, and he's 71 years old in 2020. During his MLB career, he batted .278 with 99 home runs and 475 RBIs. Grubb played for the San Diego Padres, Cleveland Indians, Texas Rangers, and Detroit Tigers. From 1972 to 1987, he was an All-Star in '74 with the Padres. He won a World Series title in 1984 with the Tigers. 1974, he had a 21-game hitting streak. He signed as a start of the DH, beginning of DH in '73. Grubb is the all-time leader in the American League in pinch hits for a number 9 hitter. And when he retired in MLB, he had a low profile. Since retiring, he was a baseball coach at his former high school alma mater, Meadowbrook High School in Richmond, Virginia. Grubb and his wife are active members of a Christian church, Disciples of Christ. In the minors, he played for the Nashville Sounds. He played for the Senior Professional Baseball League, the Orlando Juice. He played college baseball at State College of Florida Manatees, and the Florida State Seminoles. Johnny Grubb. Charlie Spikes played some right field. Spikes batted .232 with 22 hits. He scored 13 runs, 2 doubles, 3 home runs, 11 RBIs, 11 walks in 32 games. On December 9th of '77, Spikes was traded by the Tribe to the Detroit Tigers for Tom Verizor. This was the end of his time in Cleveland. His MLB career continued until 1980 with the Atlanta Braves. He played in Japan for the Chuniki Dragons in 1981. My first favorite player from the Cleveland Indians, going back to 1973, Charlie Spikes. Alfredo Griffin played some shortstop. Griffin batted .146 with 6 hits. He scored 4 runs, had a double, 3 RBIs, 2 stolen bases, 3 walks in 14 games. Griffin was with Cleveland from 1976 to 1978. Alfredo Griffin. Dave Oliver played some second base. Oliver batted .318 with 7 hits and 22 at-bats. He scored 2 runs, had a triple, 3 RBIs, 4 walks in 7 games. Oliver was born in 1951 in Stockton, California, and he's 69 years old in 2020. During his MLB career was just with Cleveland in 1977. Currently, he's a scout for the Kansas City Royals. He played college baseball for the Cal Poly Mustangs in the minors in 1980. He's a Tribe manager in the minors for Batavia. He's also a Rangers manager in the minors for Tri-City and Oklahoma City 89ers. Won a first place in 1985 with them. He was an MLB coach for the Rangers from 87 to 94 and the Red Sox 95 to 96 under managers Bobby Valentine, Toby Harrah, and Kevin Kennedy. He was also a manager in the minors for the Stockton, California Mudville 9. 2011, he became the Texas Rangers Special Assistant for Baseball Operations, hired by the Rangers CEO Nolan Ryan. 2013, he became the Rangers Special Assistant for Player Development. In the minors, he played for the Memphis Chicks, Toledo Mudhens, Tacoma Tugs, and Portland Beavers. And in Venezuela for Tiburones de la Guaira. Dave Oliver. The Tribe pitching staff, the ace pitcher for the Tribe in '77 was Wayne Garland. Garland was 13-19 with an ERA of 3.60. 38 games, all starts, 21 complete games, a shutout, 282 and 2/3 innings pitched, and 118 strikeouts. Garland was born in 1950 in Nashville, Tennessee, and he's 69 years old in 2020. During his MLB career, he went 55-66 with an ERA of 3.89 and 450 strikeouts. Garland pitched for the Baltimore Orioles and Cleveland Indians from 1973 to 1981. In '76, Garland went 20-7 with the Orioles, and then, of course, free agency started for all the players. Garland signed a 10-year contract with Cleveland for $2.3 million before the season. He had a record of 28-48 with Cleveland. He ended up having a torn rotator cuff injury, which hurt his career. He had to deal with a lot of stuff. Criticism from the Tribe front office, booing by the fans. His car was vandalized. He was released by the Tribe in January of '82 with 5 years left on his contract. He was paid $210,000 a year until 1986 by the Tribe. After he retired, he was a manager in the minors for the Gulf Coast State Commodores and college baseball team. In the minors, he played for the Nashville Sounds Rochester Red Wings. In Venezuela for Navegantes del Magallanes. For the Senior Professional Baseball Association, he played for the Fort Myers Sun Sox. He also managed in the minors for the Nashville Sounds. Now, Garland's '77 contract of $2.3 million, at the time, that made him the highest paid player in team history, and the third highest MLB at that time after Catfish Hunter and Reggie Jackson of the Yankees. Garland bought a home worth $775,000 in Hunting Valley. Garland said, quote, "Christmas time was such a great time in Chagrin Falls. It was like a little village. I remember the closeness and friendliness of the people." Regarding his 1977 contract, Garland said, quote, "No matter where I am, it still comes up. It will be that way until the day I die. No pitcher is worth that based on one season, but if they offer it to you, naturally you're going to take it." His salary for Baltimore in 1976 was $19,000. Garland years later was asked if he had to do it all over again. He said, quote, "I'd win 20 games every one of those 10 years in my contract with the Indians. I wouldn't hurt my arm, and then I'd walk away. Otherwise, there's nothing I'd change. You guys in the media were only doing your job. And the fans, well, they were just tired of losing. I don't blame them." Wayne Garland. Dennis Eckersley was 14-13 with an ERA of 3.53, 33 games. All starts, 12 complete games, 3 shutouts, 247 and a third innings pitched, and 191 strikeouts. Eckersley was with Cleveland from 1975 to 1977. March 30th of '78, he was traded by the Tribe with Fred Kendall to the Boston Red Sox for Rick Wise, Mike Paxton, Ted Cox, and Bo Diaz. This was the end of his time in Cleveland. His MLB career continued until 1998 with the Red Sox. He's currently an MLB broadcaster in Boston for Turner Sports. Regarding 1977 season, Eckersley said, quote, "I was throwing so well that year that I knew I would throw a no-hitter. I just knew it." On May 30th of '77 at the stadium, a Tribe Angels game, Eckersley threw a no-hitter. Tribe won the game 1-0, and I was at the game. Believe it or not, Phil Segui gave Eckersley a $3,500 bonus, and the catcher Ray Fosse a $1,500 bonus. Over 3 starts, Eckersley went 22 1/3 hitless innings, got close to the record, which is 23, set by Cy Young in 1904. And Dennis Eckersley played on the 1977 American League All-Star team. Dennis Eckersley. Jim Bibby was 12-13 with an ERA of 3.57. 37 games, 30 starts, 9 complete games, 2 shutouts, 2 saves, 206 and a third innings pitched, and 141 strikeouts. Bibby was with Cleveland from 1975 to 1977. On March 3rd of 1978, he was granted free agency. So this was the end of his time in Cleveland. His MLB career continued until 1984 with the Texas Rangers. He died in 2010 in Lynchburg, Virginia at age 65. Jim Bibby. Pat Dobson was 3-12 with an ERA of 6.14, 33 games, 17 starts, a save, 133 and a third innings pitched, and 81 strikeouts. Dobson was with Cleveland from 1976 to 1977. This was the end of his MLB career. He died in 2006 in San Diego, California at age 64. Pat Dobson. Al Fitzmaurice was 6-10 with an ERA of 5.41, 29 games, 21 starts, a complete game, 133 innings pitched, and 54 strikeouts. Al Fitzmaurice was born in 1946 in Buffalo, New York, and he's 74 years old in 2020. During his MLB career, he was 77-59 with an ERA of 3.65 and 458 strikeouts. Fitzmaurice played for the Kansas City Royals, Cleveland Indians, and California Angels from 1969 to 1978. On November 5th of 76, he was traded to the Tribe by the Toronto Blue Jays for Alan Ashby and Doug Howard. The minors, he played for the Appleton Foxes, Clinton Sea Sox, Fox City Foxes, Hawaii Islanders, and Salt Lake City Gulls, and in Venezuela for Tiburones de la Guaira. Al Fitzmaurice. Jim Kern was the closer. Kern was 8-10 with an ERA of 3.42, 60 games, 18 saves, 92 innings pitched, 91 strikeouts. Kern was with Cleveland from 1974 to 1978, and he played on the 1977 American League All-Star team. Jim Kern. Rick Waits was in the bullpen. Waits was 9-7 with an ERA of 3.99, 37 games, a complete game. One start, one complete game, 2 saves, 135 innings pitched, and 62 strikeouts. Waits was with Cleveland from 1975 to 1983. Rick Waits. Don Hood was 2-1 with an ERA of 3.00, 41 games, 5 starts, a complete game, 105 innings pitched, and 62 strikeouts. Don Hood was with Cleveland from 1975 to 1979. Don Hood. Sid Manji was 1-2 with an ERA of 6.23, 33 games, 3 saves, 39 innings pitched, 25 strikeouts. Manji was born in Agua Prieta, Sonora, Mexico in 1951, and he's 69 years old in 2020. During his MLB career, he was 49-40 with an ERA of 3.53, 471 strikeouts, and 56 saves. Manji pitched for the California Angels, Cleveland Indians, Philadelphia Phillies, San Diego Padres, and Detroit Tigers from 1975 to 1984. He was an All-Star in 1979 with the Tribe. He's in the Mexican Baseball Hall of Fame. Manji immigrated to the U.S. at age 16 with his family. They lived in Brawley, California. Tony Gwynn got his first career hit off of Manji in July of 1982 in a Padres-Phillies game. Currently, Manji is a pitching coach for Sultanes de Monterrey in Mexico. He also coached for the State College Spikes, for the New Jersey Cardinals, and the Potomac Cannons, Johnson City Cardinals, Peoria Chiefs, all St. Louis Cardinals system teams. Also the Jamestown Jammers for the Tigers. In the Winter League in Mexico, he was the third base coach for Venados de Mazatlan. The minors, he played for the Hawaii Islanders. In Mexico, he played for Mayos de Navojoa, Ostioneros de Guaymas, Tomateros de Culiacan, and Yaquis de Obregon. He won a National League title in 1983 with the Phillies and a World Series title in 1984 with the Tigers. Sid Manji. Tom Buskey had no decisions and an ERA of 5.29. 21 games, 34 innings pitched, 15 strikeouts. Buskey was with Cleveland from 1974 to 1977. He was traded in February of 78 by the Tribe with John Lowenstein to Texas for Willie Horton and David Clyde. This was the end of his time in Cleveland. His MLB career continued until 1980 with the Blue Jays. He died in 1998 in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania at age 51. Tom Buskey. Dave LaRoche was 2-2 with an ERA of 5.30. 13 games, 4 saves, 18 2/3 innings pitched, and 18 strikeouts. LaRoche was with Cleveland from 1975 to 1977. On May 11th of 77, my 17th birthday, he was one of my favorite players. He was traded by the Tribe with Dave Schuller to the California Angels for Bruce Bhakti, Sid Manji, and $250,000 in cash so the Tribe could meet payroll. His MLB career continued until 1983 with the New York Yankees. Dave LaRoche. Larry Anderson was 0-1 with an ERA of 3.14. 11 games, 14 1/3 innings pitched, and 8 strikeouts. Anderson was with Cleveland in 1975 and from 1977 to 1979. Larry Anderson. Cardell Camper was 1-0 with an ERA of 3.86, 3 games, 1 start, 9 1/3 innings pitched, and 9 strikeouts. Camper was born in 1952 in Boley, Oklahoma, and he died in 2010 in Beaumont, California at age 58. Camper's, during his career, his MLB career was just with Cleveland in 77. December 6th of 78, he was traded by the Tribe to the Philadelphia Phillies for Joe Charbonneau. The minors, he played for the Arkansas Travelers, Oklahoma City 89ers, Portland Beavers, and Toledo Mud Hens. In Mexico, he played for Dorados de Chihuahua, Sultanes de Monterrey, and Saraperos de Saltillo. In Venezuela, he played for Leones del Caracas and Navegantes del Magallanes. And finally, Bill Laxton had no decisions and an ERA of 5.40. 2 games, 1 2/3 innings pitched, and a strikeout. He was born in 1948 in Camden, New Jersey, and he's 72 years old in 2020. During his MLB career, he was 3-10 with an ERA of 4.73 and 189 strikeouts. Laxton pitched, for the Philadelphia Phillies, San Diego Padres, Detroit Tigers, Seattle Mariners, and Cleveland Indians from 1970 to 1977. On April 7th of 77 was Laxton's last career win. And he got his pitching, actually, for the Seattle Mariners. He was traded by the Tribe, traded by the Mariners with cash to the Tribe for Ray Fosse on June 22nd, 1978. He was traded by the Tribe to the San Diego Padres for Dave Freisleben later. His son, Brett Laxton, was an MLB pitcher from 1999 to 2000 for the Oakland A's and Kansas City Royals. In the minors, Bill Laxton played for the Eugene Emeralds, Portland Beavers, and Tidewater Tides. And in Venezuela for the Tigres de Aragua. Now in the postseason in the ALCS for 1977, the New York Yankees, the American League champions, defeated the Kansas City Royals, the American League West champions, 3-2. In the National League Championship Series, or the NLCS, the LA Dodgers, who were the National League West champions, defeated the Philadelphia Phillies, National League East champions, 3-1. The Phillies won Game 1 7-5. This was the first Phillies postseason win since 1915. Frank Sinatra threw out the first pitch before Game 1. After Game 1, Dodger manager Tommy Lasorda said, quote, "You still got to win 3 games to win the playoffs." And the Phillies won only 1. Like the guy said, one flatulation does not make a windstorm, and one game doesn't win the playoffs. Before Game 2, Don Rickles, comedian, was in the Dodgers clubhouse, and he said, quote, "Hello, fellas, and thanks, Tommy Lasorda. Look at him. Look at that stomach. You think he's worried about you guys? No way. If you guys lose, he's going to tie a cord around his neck and get work as a balloon." The clubhouse exploded in laughter. Game 3 was in Philadelphia. The series was tied 1-1. In the 9th, the Phillies were up 5-3. There were 2 outs and nobody on. Vic Davalillo, at age 40, got a bunt single. The Dodgers scored 3 and won the game. Won that game. Manny Modal, Davey Lopes, and Bill Russell had hits. And Dusty Baker was the NLCS MVP. So that set the stage for the 1977 World Series, in which the New York Yankees, American League champions, defeated the Los Angeles Dodgers, National League champions, 4-2. MVP was Reggie Jackson for the Yankees. Hall of Famers in the World Series included Catfish Hunter and Jackson, and Bobby Cox, a first base coach for the Yankees. And for the Dodgers, Tommy Lasorda, manager, and Don Sutton. 1977 was the first Yankee-Dodgers World Series since 1963. Before Game 3, in L.A., singer Linda Ronstadt sang the national anthem. Game 6, Reggie Jackson hit 3 home runs on 3 consecutive swings. This was the first Yankee World Series title since 1962. Reggie Jackson got the nickname Mr. October from this series. Michael Fallon wrote, quote, "In an era when it seemed the big guy, the corporate giants and stuffed shirts and over-entitled were increasingly gaining all the advantages, the Yankees of 1977 seemed to symbolize the basic unfairness of America." Jim Murray, L.A. sports writer, wrote, quote, "For the Dodgers, the problem is beating a team that was put together like Standard Oil or U.S. Steel. This Yankee team should be listed on the Wall Street big board. It wasn't put together like most teams. It was bought on the commodity market. These are just a bunch of hired guns, athletic Hessians. It's baseball version of the Krupp Works. Michael Fallon wrote, quote, "So this World Series of 1977 would be, in the view of many observers, a showdown between the peaceful, idyllic planet of Alderaan versus the Death Star in the Bronx. It was up to the Dodgers to stand up for all the underprivileged, overtaxed, struggling underdogs of the universe against the juggernaut Yankees. It was a last gambit by old Obi-Wan O'Malley, finally to defeat the villainous Darth Steinbrenner." Tommy Lasorda said this before the World Series, quote, "I look at Billy Martin and I see myself. It's never come easy for him. He's had to scrape and hustle. We're like brothers." And Billy Martin had this to say about Tommy Lasorda: "Us Italians have to stick together." Game 1 was at Yankee Stadium. The Yankees won 4-3 in 12 innings, and Paul Blair had the game-winning RBI single. Game 2, the Dodgers won 6-1, and Bert Hooton had a complete game victory. There were home runs by Steve Yeager, Ron Cey, Reggie Smith, and Steve Garvey. During the game, Yankee fans threw firecrackers, smoke bombs, whiskey bottles, beer bottles, and little rubber balls on the field. Game 3 was in Los Angeles, California. The Yankees won 5-3. Dusty Baker hit a home run. Mike Torres got the complete game win. Game 4, the Yanks won again 4-2. Ron Guidry got the win, and Reggie Jackson and Davey Lopes hit home runs. Game 5, the Dodgers won 10-4. Don Sutton got the win. There were home runs by Thurman Munson, Reggie Jackson, Steve Yeager, and Reggie Smith. So it was back to New York, the Big Apple, for Game 6, where Reggie Jackson hit 3 home runs in the decisive game. Michael Fallon wrote, quote, "In the minds of the deepest of Dodgers fans, those diehards who lived and breathed all things Dodger in 1977, who watched every possible minute of the World Series, and who at age 11, say, had lived a life mostly sheltered from soul-crushing disappointment, the events that began with no outs in the bottom of the 4th inning were when one was forced to reckon with a hard truth about the world. That is, 3 particular moments in Game 6, which seemed to come as quick as lightning strikes or sucker punches from a playground bully, were the stuff of waking nightmares and countless therapy sessions for millions of poor Angelinos who had witnessed the events. The devastation was just so massive, the Dodgers' destruction and desolation just so complete, and it was made all the worse by having to watch the rusted-out, crumbling, belligerent, and uncouth old-world city of New York rejoice at crushing the hopes and dreams of the people of Los Angeles." Jackson's home runs were hit in the 4th, 5th, and 8th innings. Yankees won the game 8-4 to win the World Series 4-2. Mike Torres was the winning pitcher. Mike Gonring, a Milwaukee sports writer, wrote, quote, "What Reggie Jackson did in the deciding game of the World Series would have been unbelievable had not so many people witnessed it." Reggie Jackson said, quote, "To me, the Yankees were always Mickey Mantle and Whitey Ford, Joe DiMaggio and Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig, but now I think I belong." 120 million fans watched the 1977 World Series on television. In 77, MLB set an attendance record with 38 million fans coming to games. Now, the last out of the 77 World Series, the Dodgers' Lee Lacy had a pop-up on a bunt attempt that was caught by Yankee pitcher Mike Torres to end the game and the series. Dane Perry wrote, quote, "Like sinners to a tent revival, fans, thousands of them, spilled onto the field. Reggie Jackson summoned his football skills, dodged most, ran over a few, and made it to the dugout. The fans tore up turf, bases, plastic seats, anything to help them remember what they didn't yet believe." After the game, Reggie Jackson was with his father in the clubhouse, and Reggie said, quote, "I can't say too much for this man. He has been behind me all the way, even in my darkest moments." Jonathan Mahler wrote, quote, "When the Dodgers still played in Flatbush, the Bums provided the color and the Bombers provided the class. These days, the two teams had taken the shape of their respective cities, the friendly, easygoing Dodgers and the tired, neurotic Yankees. The same dichotomy happened to be on display in movie theaters across America in 1977. Academy Award-winning film Annie Hall. Now, Game 2 of the series, there was a fire that started near Yankee Stadium that was visible, and Howard Cosell said, quote, "There it is, ladies and gentlemen. The Bronx is burning." Game 6 in New York, Jonathan Mahler wrote, quote, before Game 6, quote, by now everyone just wanted to see how this bizarre drama would end. Regarding Reggie Jackson in Game 6, he wrote, quote, there is none of the subtle jockeying, the foul tips and work counts that usually accompany memorable at-bats. Reggie simply strides to the plate 3 consecutive times against 3 different pitchers, and before the commentators can even properly set the scene, strokes the first pitch he sees into the seats. For this one night, the all-too-human Reggie Jackson glowed with superhuman greatness. After the last when the Yankees won the World Series, Jonathan Mahler wrote, quote, in an instant, thousands of fevered fans were pouring onto the field. The extra police and their 5 mounted horses were no match for this mass of humanity. Only Babe Ruth had hit 3 home runs in a single World Series game, twice in fact, but never in consecutive at-bats, let alone on 3 pitches. The tabloids wove Reggie's 3 mighty blows into their narrative of New York City's struggle for survival. Who dares to call New York a lost cause? A pumped-up New York Post editorialized. The Amsterdam News compared Reggie Jackson's Game 6 feat to Joe Louis' knockout of Max Schmeling and Jackie Robinson's first Major League home run. Quote, black residents of New York City reacted with a special jubilation and sense of triumph to the sensational performance of Reggie Jackson, the paper reported on its October 22 front page. Quote, much of the feeling appeared to be based on the widespread feeling among blacks interviewed by the Amsterdam News that the white-dominated media and whites in the crowds, as well as the Yankees' white manager Billy Martin, had been especially hard on Jackson because he was black, arrogant, and spoke his mind. After the game, the Yankees had a team party at the Sheraton Hotel in Hasbrook Heights, New Jersey, where they enjoyed champagne and cheeseburgers. There's a ticker tape parade for them from Broadway to the New York City Hall the following day. Now, for the season, the MVPs for the American League were Rod Carew of the Minnesota Twins, in the National League, George Foster of the Cincinnati Reds. The Cy Young Award winners in the American League, Sparky Lyle of the Yankees, in the National League, Steve Carlton of the Philadelphia Phillies. Well, that's the story of the 1977 Cleveland Indians. Had a tough year, but there are guys they played for us. God bless all the guys who played for the Cleveland Indians, in 1977. And everyone associated with the team, including the fans especially, the First World War veterans and the veterans of the Second World War, Korean War, and Vietnam War. Captains of the Cuyahoga, lovers of Lake Erie, Terminal Tower Power, fans of the Free Stamp statue and the Fountain of Eternal Life. Euclid Avenue Electricity, if I can remember these things. Severance Hall Stalwarts. Cleveland Museum of Art Enthusiasts, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and Museum Rebels. Christmas Story House Happy People. Museum of Contemporary Art Maniacs. Cleveland Botanical Garden Goers. Old Arcade Admirers, Playhouse Square. Sears, Settlers Landing Park Purists. Western Reserve Historical Society Wonders. First Energy Stadium Friends, Progressive Field Pals, Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse Renegades, Cuyahoga Valley National Park Pioneers, Great Lakes Science Center Supporters, Holden Arboretum Enjoyers, Cleveland Public Library Enjoyers, Tribe, Browns, Cavs, Monsters, and Gladiator Rule. Cleveland, City of Champions. Cleveland is the best location in the nation on the north coast of America. New York is the Big Apple. Cleveland is a plum. Tribe had a good year in 2020. No fans at the games. It's too bad we got beat in the playoffs. But hope springs eternal. Wait till next year. We're going to win the World Series, and wait till 2021. The Cleveland Indians will win the World Series. So that's now. If you might consider checking out our website, Adventures in History with Peter J. Ray at peterjray.com. So far, we've made 686 history videos in 7 areas: world history, American history, book reviews, poetic tours, Cleveland baseball, family history, and autobiography. There's a donate feature. You might consider making a donation so we can continue making these videos. If you live in Metro Manila, Philippines, and are looking for a high school, you might consider Restless Educational Center. Restless is located on Allenby Street, the inclined plane, not far from the corner of P. Guevara and Wilson Street in Barangay Maytuna, San Juan, Metro Manila, Philippines. At Restless, we specialize in helping young people who have had difficulty in the larger, traditional high schools. And we're more than a school. We're a warm, supportive community, and we strive to be creative and innovative. And the website is ressalest.education, RESALEST. Thanks so much for watching. Really appreciate it. God bless you. Take care, and I'll see you next time.